Now today I'm going to review an adventure watch. Now this is the SUUNTO Traverse watch that I'm wearing, and I've had it since about December of 2017. It's got a little bit of use, and I have more of a feel of its strengths and weaknesses. This is just the regular Traverse. This is the lower end version of the Traverse watches. It does come with instructions. It's got a quick guide, and it's got the warranty. Also, there's a little SUUNTO sticker that comes inside as well. This is the SUUNTO recharger cable. This is not a battery powered, it's a rechargeable powered. The internal battery, I believe, is a lithium ion, and it's rechargeable and it cannot be replaced. So once it's dead, you have to recharge it. Now, this is a USB cable connector, and you can basically attach to anything from a battery bank to your car with an adapter, your laptop, the wall, whatever. But it's real important that you have this, because in my Oregon trip, I didn't bring it with me. I forgot it. And I used the SUUNTO Traverse very heavily, and that was a problem because I had about 2 days left in the trip and the watch died because I forgot this cable. So this cable is very important. Now on the back of the watch you can see several things. Obviously there's the name, the SUUNTO Traverse. It's made in Finland. And it has all the certifications and qualifications. This watch is Bluetooth. If you notice, it's got a Bluetooth designation. It has a lithium ion battery in it. And it receives, since it's a GPS watch, receives GPS signal from both US and Russian satellites. Also, if you notice right here, there's some holes. This is really interesting because one of the things this watch does, apart from being a GPS watch, is it's a smart watch. And it vibrates and makes noises. And I'll cover that here in a few minutes, but it's interesting to note all the different things just on the inside. I mean, this is on your body side of the watch. Now, you can see these 4 contact points. These contact points are for the cable. So you can see that this is more of a alligator clamp type of cable with teeth, and the teeth just made up right here. Now if we look at this side, you can see it's not really going anywhere. It's pretty solid. I mean, you can hang it, and it's just got this little lip over here that catches on the inside of the bezel to make sure that you don't lose the watch. So always make sure that you have this cable. Let's get into the watch itself. Like I said, rather large bezel. Rather large watch, primarily because it does have a receiving unit in it for GPS satellite, and it can do a lot of things other than just telling time, obviously, since it's both a GPS watch and a smart watch. Obviously we have the time here. Now I'm going to start down here with this button. If we click this once, it's telling me when daytime is, when the sun is going to come up, but it gives you sun up and sun down based on your particular time zone. So you have to plug that in. We have seconds, and it's giving me my elevation. I'm at 856 feet. So I'm in Ohio, so we're not exactly very high. Click it again, you get a little arrow. Now that arrow is just for the barometric pressure and which direction. I don't really mess with that too much. Here's a little interesting thing. I have it set for my steps. So according to this, I have made 3,554 steps today. Now, the downside of this pedometer on this watch is that it's not satellite based, it's motion based. Now, we're down to our percentage as far as how much life the watch battery has. This thing will die sooner the more you use it. Now the middle button is kind of a big deal because it does a lot. Now I'm going to push it once and you can see it has 29.88, and that's barometric pressure. So in the bottom you can see that it's 91 degrees. Now it's in my hand, so that might be affecting it a little bit. And the best way to use the barometer on this to get the temperature is to take it off your wrist and let it hang for a little while. That's part of the ABC functions of this watch. You know, you're going to get the altimeter, barometer, and the compass. So we hit the middle again, and we're getting our compass bearings. Since I'm holding it this way rather than horizontal, you're not really going to get good compass bearings. Now I have verified this with my SUUNTO compass, and I've checked it out, and this is spot on. Now let's go to the top one. This one is also very important. You can see that it has various functions or different things they can do. And these two now become the up and down. If you want to go down, click the bottom button. Here are the displays, logbook, navigation, notifications, record, back to displays. Let's start with navigation. Now, obviously, since these two buttons are officially the up and down, it's pointing towards the middle, so we'll hit this middle button. We now see POIs, which are points of interest, logbook, routes, location, and settings. So we can do the same thing with the up and downs, and we can go through and scroll through. So let's hit location. Gives you a current or define location. Well, let's hit our current location. Okay, after we push the button, it's in GPS mode. What it's doing is searching for the GPS to give us our current location in longitude and latitude. Now we're in a wooded area, so it may have some difficulty trying to find us. I see that with a lot of regular GPSs, and this watch is no different. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're going to get the GPS, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to get a signal here. Usually what I have to do is be in a relatively clear area, start the GPS, and then it stays and it's pretty consistent. In here, when you start in the woods to begin with, it's a little hit and miss. So in the upper portion it says cancel, so we're going to hit that, and it's going to take us back to the previous page we were, current or define. Let's click define, and I have put this into my little computer inside the logbook. So we're going to go back and click it as a point of interest. So, and this is where it's going to come in handy when you start going into some of the sports functions of this watch. See, now it's saved as a point of interest. Okay, logbook. The logbook, and the neat thing about this is everything in the logbook is every place that I've done a hike or a run. So when you go into sports mode, that logbook will have the dates and the times, and it will give you pretty much some interesting data. So let's click this one. It says navigation or view. Well, let's go to view. Track back. So it's tracking and calculating. And this was, if you can see this, basically a hike I did. So pretty much like a straight on view. And it's giving you this point to point. We click the middle one and it gives you an elevation profile. So you can see the altitude and how quickly it went up. So to get back, we're going to click this button. And we're back to our logbook. And we have logbook and the different routes. So let's get out of this. Let's go to notifications. Notifications is interesting because basically you can sync this watch because it is Bluetooth with your cell phone. So whatever notifications you get on your cell phone, you can get it on your watch. When you go to record, that's the interesting thing about this is Record will give you multiple sports. Now, on the Ambit, you can change the sports, and I believe on this you can as well. You have to go to the SUUNTO website to moves count. So right now it is in hiking. I have it for set for kayaking, orienteering, mountain biking, adventure racing. And those are all the sports that I decided I wanted on it. And once again, with the cable I showed you before, you hook it up to the back. That's like your USB port, for lack of a better word. So when you connect this to your computer and you go to SUUNTO's move counts, you can change the different sports on there. In each one of these, you can program on the moves count how you want that sport to come up. You can see I have it set up for distance in the middle, time, and average. Now we can click to change the bottom, and those are options when you're programming the watch. This bottom on this side, overall time, overall distance. You can do about 3 things on the bottom, but you can only do 1 thing each on the middle display and the upper display. I could get into some of the other things, but those are the basic big things that I use. The setup will ask you if you want it to pick up both Russian and American satellites. I do. More satellites, the more accurate it is. So far, I've used this watch, the GPS function, and I charged it up as much as I possibly could. I think when I left on my trip, it had 97% of a charge. 8 hours of actual functionality out of this watch when you're using the GPS function. This is a waterproof watch. I swim with this. I shower with it pretty much every day. Has no problem. They set the MSRP at around $500. I would not pay that. I did not pay that. I got this on Amazon around Christmas time. I paid $301 for that. So that's actually not bad for a GPS smartwatch.